very, very enlightening, gives you a sense of urgency. I almost want to, while I was reading it, I wanted to just call different people that I know, family and friends, say, hey, you got to read this book.
Mm.
But for most people, they're like, I'm not going to open up that book. And it's an easy read. I'm gonna, I've been reading, through it over and over again. Every book that we have been assigned or suggested reading is something that we just need to constantly keep in rotation for the times, especially for the times that we're living in. But I enjoyed it. I'm not a big math person, but the illustrations he had, kind of put everything in perspective. But definitely an eye opener. And the clock is ticking, like you said.
Good. Okay. I see
Hey,
Sierra.
Curtis, if I may, this is Steve.
1 second, Steve.
I like that to
You-
dovetail on what Wendy just said, especially about the clock ticking. This strategy of shifting monies from the other buckets into the tax-free bucket is definitely on a time clock. The concern, as you know, is the expiration of the existing Fair Job Act that Trump administration put into effect, that if the Congress doesn't do anything by 2026, there's a possibility that we can see rates similar to what we've seen maybe in the 80s, don't know. But it is very limiting. I was surprised that he made a case that we should still diversify amongst these the various buckets. He mentioned that in the first bucket being the tax bucket, that as long as we have about 6 months of emergency funds, that it's a good idea to maintain that bucket. And then in the tax deferred bucket, he mentioned that, since the company is matching you dollar for dollar, that you should at least invest up to that percentage and keep that bucket. But the caution that he's given all of us, especially for those that haven't made the move yet to establish a Roth IRA or any kind of annuity plan, was if you try to immediately shift a large amount of money into this bucket, you could be subject to higher taxes than you intended on paying. So unfortunately, there's only 6 more years left. But whatever money that you do have, that you need to be strategic about how you shift it to minimize your tax liability. So it was interesting. He made a case for all three, but obviously he's urging everybody that you have just a limited amount of time to make a move towards a tax deferred bucket.
Yeah, man, you guys, and if you guys want the big event, you guys got to hear from him live 101, right? So that was pretty cool. So I hear Sierra, and then I go to Olivia next.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to highlight, I think everyone kind of covered the takeaways, but what was more profound to me was the way that the government mismanages the debt, and that the information is there for us, but because we don't have the knowledge, we're not able to make the right decisions based on that. So all of the reading that we've been doing thus far just continues to build on the power of knowledge and being able to plan. And that's what's key in being able to manage your money. Forecasting based on patterns that we've already seen repeat in history, and being able to prepare for the future. Being someone that's nowhere near the average retirement age, which is 65, it's a little bit worrisome to think that if I didn't have any idea of all of these things, that it could be time for me to retire and I have nothing to look forward to, or nothing to even pass down to my children based on acquiring, and diversifying my portfolio. So I'm just going to continue to read and educate so I can make the best possible decisions for not only myself, but my family and friends.
Good for you. I like it. Okay, Olivia was next. That's good.
I was just gonna say that to touch on really what everyone is saying, um, like we're really doing a disservice to our friends and our family by not letting them know about the books that we're reading. Like this one is so good with the information that's in there, in regards to diversifying your portfolio. Like many people don't even know about the tax zero bucket or the tax never category because they're so used to like the 401ks, the tax deferred bucket. So we're really doing like a disservice to not only our friends and our family, but our entire community by not letting them know about these books. Like I even talked to a doctor, my grandmother's doctor, and he said he's never heard of this book. He's a fan of Patrick, but he's never heard of this book. So I actually bought 2 books and I'm going to be taking a book back to him because I feel like if you're a doctor, this is a book that you should read if no one else, because there's so much information in here that you need to know. So I just think I feel that if we're not educating everyone, not just our friends and our family, but our entire community, we're really doing a disservice to everyone.
Point. Well, with that, hopefully you guys read the book for yourselves. For those that didn't, field trainings might be a little bit more difficult for you because you don't have enough conviction behind what you're talking about. Okay, so a lot of people are like, well, how do you make money in this business? Well, it's really easy actually, when you just believe what you're talking about. Like, it's not really a sales conversation. A lot of people are like, is this sales? Like, I don't have to like really sell you if it makes sense. Like, does it? Like, if it makes sense for your life and increase your quality of life, is that really like, do I really have to like sell you on it? It's just more like a conversation, right? So all field trainings are a conversation on what just makes sense. That's all they are. And then for you is to be able to give content behind it and stories. A good field trainer gives stories. A good field trainer knows the facts, but doesn't sell through facts. They sell through stories. So yes, we're having you read the books because we want you to know the facts. We want you to know the tax now, tax later, tax never bucket and all that. You got to know how the IUL works. You got to know like the background behind it. Well, how's the government spending money into it? Is it Medicare? Is it, Social Security? Where's the national debt going? Like, you need to know that stuff. But you've been professional in your craft. But you need to know stories. Like, so you're reading these books so you have more conviction on what you're doing. But when you sell, you're not telling them not all those facts. I don't know if that has made sense or not. So I'm sitting across from a client. I'm not telling them all that information just because I know it. Now, if they want to dive into it, great. So those books are for you and your conviction to be able to sit in front of people. Not necessarily you having to explain every little detail of what you got from the book. You want them to get more understanding, you conceptually sell. And that's what all selling is conceptual through stories. So let's kind of go through a conversation here with you guys today on field training. Okay, and how this business and how these simple presentations could put not just a lot of money in your pocket, but put a lot of people in a position of freedom. Okay, that's a fact. So week 4, field training. This is what we're talking about next. So here's your kind of your homework for this week. It is this week already. Interesting. Did anybody do any extra credit last week? Who did extra credit? Unmute yourself. Who did extra credit?
I did. I did it the first day.
Who said? Who's that? Who said? Say your name.
Lupe Sanchez.
Lupe did it, huh?
I did. It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Good job. All right, make sure you put that in your check. Good job, Lupe, for doing extra credit. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, cool. Anybody else? I heard some more people.
Glenda.
Who?
Glenda.
Who?
Glenda.
That's right, Glenda. That's right. I saw all your extra credit. I just wanted you to say it. And
you saw it?
I saw it.
You saw it?
Come on. Yeah, I saw it. So I want you, what I like about how you submitted yours is you screenshot it. You said, there's no games here. She screenshotted every RI she did. And then she screenshotted her code and sent it in too.
Yeah, you said you wanted proof.
I like it. I like it. Good job to you as well. She said, this is
Yeah.
undisputable. Give me my extra credit. Undisputable, right? Good for you guys. All right. Good job, Mr. Wellington, for being the support there. I know you're there as a pillar. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Anybody else?
Coach,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Champagne.
Cody from Amarillo.
Cody, you did extra credit?
Oh yeah. So the first one that I ran the Crusade on, 30 minutes. I had the Crusade ran. I had their PHP done, and I had their temporary license all done in 30 minutes.
Oh, I like to hear. I want success stories, baby.
That's wow.
Good job, Cody.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. So the key was to learn that presentation last week, but go apply it. All right, go do it. Right. And you said in 30 minutes, you got what? I want to hear that one more time.
In 30 minutes, I had the Crusade ran. I had gotten their PHP code number, and we had signed them up for their temporary license already.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So did the presentation of what we talked about last week, did it help? Did that language help a lot faster?
Yeah, most definitely. So for me, I was running the flip chart before I learned the Crusade, right? And I ended up like spending 30, 40 minutes just doing the flip chart because, they would get talking back and forth. And I just ran the Crusade, just flat out ran it, got their yeses, and then bam, next thing I know, like we're 15 minutes in, we're done. And she's like, yes, let's do it. I'm like, all right, let's get going.
So you didn't have to like recreate now. You just literally follow the script and it works, huh?
Literally, yes.
Oh man, that's so crazy how that thing works. All right. It's so crazy how this business works, man. Good job, Cody. Anybody else have any success stories? I like to hear good stories. Anybody have success stories from last week?
I do, Coach. Champagne. Just basically the same thing Cody was saying. I ran the RI, but I did it in a lot shorter time. Cut it down, and I just the one biggest thing I changed was ending each section with a question, basically, to continue to get them to say yes, so that at the end, when it was like, I don't see why you shouldn't get started, they're like, me either. So that made it a lot easier.
Good for you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Did you do extra credit too?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the extra credit, right? That was the 5 RIs and a direct, right?
Yep.
Sure did.
That's what I'm talking about.
We closed her in maybe like 15 minutes, maybe a little more, 17 minutes, something like that. But it was very easy, a lot easier than the other RIs I've done based off of those questions.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you feel you could duplicate this faster?
Oh yeah, it needs to be faster. It needs to be faster. I've sat on, just answering questions and things like that. I've done RIs that I can just say have been way too long. Definitely way too long. So it could definitely be faster. It should be faster.
There we go. Cool. Anybody else before we close? We're going to get to the content now. Good. Well, all right. I like good stories. That was enough. That's enough for us today. Well, perfect. So that's the RI. RI is simple. Let's go field training now. Again, leveraging a duplicatable presentation. Okay. We're going to be leveraging a duplicatable presentation to build a multi-million-dollar business. All right. Field training is the magic of our business. It is the magic. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for magic here. The best field trainers duplicate the strongest. Okay. The strongest field trainers, that's for sure. Okay. Here we go. They duplicate the strongest agencies. I'm sorry. Okay. So the best field trainers duplicate the strongest agencies. So when their marketing directors pop out, they're already strong. Okay, because that's the key in our business is 2 positions: field trainers, marketing director, field trainers, marketing director, field trainers, marketing director. So if you're not a field trainer, you solidify that. When you become a field trainer, you next is marketing director. Okay, so master field training presentation. This is a good just to know. Okay, which is the 5 gotchas. All right, that's just good to know as content. And from Matt Sapala and the PHP education, you can use it in your presentation if you like. Some people do, some people don't. With the Crusade, you don't really have to. It's just good to know, though. It's like these are the 5 gotchas of money that most people are going to go through. Okay, 3 ways money grows. That's already in the Crusade. We'll talk about that. Okay, and a field training presentation is so key to bring up the 3 ways that money grows. That's how you kind of figure out where their money is. Okay, and what if they're open to finding something better. And then how to capture a full FLS and close the second appointment And then this is your homework. You can see it for yourself. Read and write one-page report on Unshakable, Mr. Tony Robbins. All right, so that's what you'll be submitting this week, Friday. Is when we have our next class, which will be our last class gonna be legit. Just trying to prep y'all. last class is about to be fire because I'm about to give a lot of heat on that one. So let's go to this one. So field training. So open up with the 3 sets of eyes. All right. So guess what presentation we use? Crusade. Man, we don't use a lot of presentations, huh? No, we don't need to. You don't need to. It's very simple. All right. The language is a little different though. Okay. It's a little bit different, but pretty much the same. Okay. It's a little bit different, pretty much the same. So you're open up with the 3 sets of eyes. All right. Recruiting, questions, referrals. So I want you to look at this presentation three different ways. I want you to listen to this presentation 3 different ways. I want you to see this presentation 3 different ways. Recruiting, questions, referrals. Recruiting, questions, referrals. Recruiting, questions, referrals. That's kind of like your 3 sets of eyes. So I would say something like this. Ron, I want you to listen to this presentation 3 different ways. First way is if you know anyone that doesn't mind supplementary income, especially in times like this. Okay. Secondly, I want you to be able to ask questions. Why? Because there might be something here that we're talking about that might make sense for you. So if it does make sense, we might even show you an example that looks like. Okay. Then lastly, if there's anyone here, if we add enough value, if there's anyone here, anyone that you may know that could benefit from what we're talking about here today, I want you to give referrals to the trainee, which is Belinda. It's really that's it. So when you get good, you just ask the questions up front. So you'll just ask right up front. So you'll just say something like this. Hey, Ron, I want you to listen to this presentation 3 different ways. The first way is if you're open to supplement your income or a career change. Let me ask you up front. Are you open to making more money right now?
Sure.
So now I know he's open. So I know he's recruitable. So what's my whole objective at the end of the day is what? Recruit, sell, referral. Recruit, sell, referral. Recruit, sell, referral. So I'm going for the recruit first. So I just ask up front. Let's ask the question. Are you open to making more money right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So maybe we'll talk about that in the conversation. Secondly, okay, I don't want to assume that you come from financial services. You're familiar with some of these products and services. So I want you to ask a lot of questions here today. Okay. And if any makes sense, we'll also be able to show you an example what it could look like for you and your family.
Okay.
So what I just do? I put in your head that I'm already going to do an illustration on you.
You set an expectation.
I set your expectation. I manage expectations early. So if you manage, the key of field training is manage expectations early. So I'm telling you up front that I'm going to run an illustration on you to show you an example of what some of these products and services can look like for you and your family. Cool. And then lastly, if you feel confident what I'm about to show you here today, which I'm pretty sure you will, I want you to feel confident in referring to Champagne, and feeling confident referring to Anna, feeling confident referring to Glinda. Does that kind of make sense?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And then I go into my 2-minute story. All right, 2-minute story followed by future financial services. So I explain what's going on in future financial service, the future financial services, and really the whole purpose of future financial services is explaining how these big companies like your AIG, Mutual Omaha, American National, they're not doing really well at marketing. They're terrible at marketing. So they need a marketing firm like ourselves to be able to reach in different cultures and communities that they cannot tap into. And that's why we're growing so fast. Okay. Then from there, we just go to the Crusade like you've always done. Okay. So what we're going to do right now. All right. So you're going to explain the Crusade, then you're going to transition. So, you guys know the Crusade because we did it last week. It's the same language. All right. The 12 steps. That's nothing new. If you can close them up front, go ahead. That's fine. But we usually have like a trainee with you and it's specifically for field training. You transition to the FLS no matter what. So at the end of the conversation, you always transition to FLS. So the transition after you explain the Crusade is transition to FLS is like, hey, do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today? And that's how you transition to the FLS. Okay, cool. Does someone have a question?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So you said to you start already. I'm familiar with the 3 sets of eyes, but within that you're asking them. So like, today as I go through the presentation, want you to look at this for sets of eyes. If you know anyone that wouldn't mind supplementing their income, and then you're asking them, are you open to making more money right now? Like
Yeah, I'll literally ask them right up front. I'll say, this is what I'll do to you, Meredith. I'll say, hey, I want you to listen to this presentation 3 different ways. The first way is if you know anyone that wouldn't mind supplementing their income, especially in times like this. Actually, let me ask you, Meredith, are you open to making more money in times like this?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What, see my point? So a statement question.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Then the second one is, well, I don't want to assume that you have some of these financial products and services. I would love for you to ask a lot of questions here today for the training. And towards the end, what we might do is we might show you what this can look like as well for you. Show you an example of what that could look like for you as well.
Okay.
Okay. And lastly, if you feel confident what I'm about to show you, hope you feel confident giving referrals to the training, because that's what we're here for today.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No worries. So the good question. So now, did anybody else have any other questions before we go into?
Curtis, I did have a question. I put it on the line for everyone, but are we able to record your, because I love your wording right here, but I'm taking pictures and all. So are we able to record this? Do you have a recording of this so we can practice this ourselves, or what?
Am I recording this? No. Someone's recording it though. Who's recording this?
Like a live on YouTube. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Joel.
Joel.
Thanks, Curtis.
Is it
Go ahead and share the link after we're done. We'll show the link.
awesome? Thank you.
All right, cool. So now let's role play it. So Meredith, go ahead. And so Meredith's going to go first since she asked the first question.
Fabulous.
All right. So you're going to role play the 3 sets of eyes, and then you're literally, I'm going to be the prospect. Okay. And let's say as first person I see is Belinda. So Belinda is going to be the trainee.
Okay.
Okay. So you're on an appointment. So the only reason why I'm in the appointment is because I know Belinda. Belinda called me and say, hey, can you help me out for 20, 30 minutes for my field 20, I just want to learn the language of the business. All right. No worries, Belinda. I'll help you out. So I'm sitting down in front of you guys, and I want you to open this appointment with the 3 sets of eyes.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
Hey, Curtis, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Okay, welcome. I know Belinda asked you to be here today to help her out with her training. And so as I go through the presentation, I want you to look at it and listen to it from like having 3 sets of eyes. The first one is if you know anyone who wouldn't mind supplementing their income. Actually, are you open to making more income at this time?
Actually, I am.
Okay, awesome. We maybe we'll get to that part in the conversation. And then I don't want to assume that you have any of these products or services or are very familiar with financial services. So I do want you to feel free to ask as many questions as you need. Does that work for you?
It does.
Okay, awesome. And then lastly, if we do add value to you and you feel like you've gained some great knowledge, if there's anyone that that you feel can benefit from the products and services, we would love for you to refer them to Belinda. And so would that be something that you could do?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect. Good job. Give her a hand clap. She did well.
Yay.
Good job, girl.
All right. Was that hard?
No.
Not hard at all, huh? Okay, cool. Let's go. Let's pick on some people. Shayla, let's go to you. All right. So Shayla, I want you to you're going to speak to Anna. I said Anna's first person I see on my screen. Okay. And I'll be the prospect again. Okay. So keep it simple. But Anna's going to be your trainee.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Hey, Curtis, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for doing this for Anna. I'm sure she really appreciates it. So as we go through this presentation, I want you to look at this from 3 sets of eyes. First, if you know anyone that's looking to supplement their income at this time, actually, are you open to that?
No, I'm not.
No? Okay. Okay, and then next, I don't want to assume that you have or that you know much about financial services. So feel free to ask any questions. I'm sure that would be valuable information for Anna as well. And lastly, I'm trying to remember the language.
Right there. Don't recreate.
Okay. And lastly, at the end, if you find this information valuable, and anyone,
you have it.
Okay, if you find this information valuable, they will serve as great referrals for Anna, and so we can have that conversation as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
Hey, just so you know, Shayla, like you can't be me.
Yes.
Right. Let me repeat that again. You can't be me. It won't look good on you. All right, it won't look good on you. All right, you're good by yourself. So just understand that the whole purpose is you're opening up for recruiting, you're opening up for questions, you're open for referrals. That's the system.
Okay, so what should I have said when you said no to the? Should I just keep going? Because I was like trying to think of like overcoming that objection.
Yeah. All I said I was not open. Okay, no worries.
Okay.
Then go to the next. The second way I would like you to look at this, because you already said there's three ways I want you to look at this.
Okay.
Open or not doesn't hurt you.
Hey, Curtis.
Yes.
Would it, like, could she have said, or she already said that if you know anyone, it's like, okay, no worries, just continue to, keep your eyes open, just in consideration for someone else that may be able to take advantage of the opportunity.
That's it. Okay. So you left the question open saying, hey, if I want you to listen to this, if you know anyone that wants to supplement their income, let me ask you a question. Are you open to supplementing your income? And I say, no. Well, no worries. Keep your eye open for people that may make sense, as we go through this conversation. Similar to what Meredith said, that's perfect. My point is you can ad lib whatever you want to. I'm here just to make sure you just know the fundamental. Cool. Skeleton, and then you can add as much meat as you like. As long as you know that you have to solidify recruiting, questions, and referrals, we're all good here on this call. Okay. Then next you go into what? 2-minute story followed up by future financial services, and you explain the Crusade, which is the simple conversation we talked about last week. And then switching at the end, FLS. Well, do you mind if I, ask you a couple questions before we end today? So let's go to, let's see. Let's go to Olivia. Okay, and Olivia, what I want you to do, I want you to do 3 sets of eyes. Okay, then I want you to go right to your 2-minute story and explain the future of financial services. Just let it flow.
Okay. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, you can just talk to me.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Curtis, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
Awesome. So as I go through the presentation today, I would like for you to see this presentation with 3 sets of eyes. So the first way, if you know anyone open to making additional income, especially during these times, let me ask you, Curtis, are you currently open to making additional income during these times?
No, I'm not. I'm okay right now.
No worries. But if you do see along the way that you think of, or if you think of someone along the way that would be open to making additional income, they would be great referrals for Anna. Perfect. I don't want to assume that you come from financial services or that you have any of these products and services that we have to offer. So if you have any questions, Curtis, please feel free to interrupt me and ask them so that you can have more of an understanding as I move along. Does that sound fair?
It does.
Perfect. And if we add value here today and you know of anyone that could use our products and services, like I mentioned, they would be great referrals for Anna and what she's planning on doing. Would you be open to giving referrals to Anna if you knew anyone that could use our products and services?
Yeah, most definitely.
Perfect. So just going to tell you a little bit about myself, my background. I personally don't come from a financial background. My background is in customer service and being an executive assistant. But with this company, I have been able to not only change my life, but also my family's future. I've been able to really redefine the meaning of my last name. I just drew a blank.
It's your story.
You're correct. It is my story. Okay, so transitioning into future financial services from 2-minute story, that's like where I'm lost.
Okay. So remember this, guys. No one knows your story more than you know your story because it's your
Correct.
life, right? So make sure that you practice that. So you just remember, anytime you get stuck, just say, "Oh, this is my life." No one knows your life more than your life. So explain your life, right? So be able to just explain that. Then from there, the transition after you explain your 2-minute story, the transition is here. Let me tell you. I don't know how familiar you are with the industry, but let me tell you why we're considered the future of financial services and go into the future financial services.
Got you. Okay.
Come on. Tell me a 2-minute story of future financial services.
I don't even remember where I left off, but with this company, I do have the opportunity to redefine the meaning of my last name and make sure that that I not only set my family free, but also help others do the same.
Breaking the curse of poverty from our communities.
I didn't hear that, whoever said that.
Breaking the curse of poverty from our communities, financial literacy.
Got you. I'm still stuck on the transition. I didn't write that down. So
stop. I want you to keep it simple. You guys are convoluted. This is not a hard game. You're thinking too much.
I know that's my problem.
Yeah, it's your 2-minute story. It's your story, right? So
the transition.
So the transition is simple. Let me tell you why we're considered the future of financial services.
Got you.
That's it.
So from 2-minute story, you just say, let me tell you why we're the future of financial services.
Yeah, that's enough about me. Now let me tell you why we're considered the future of financial services.
Got it. I need to write that
down. So I know we're not here because of me, right? So enough about me.
Right.
Let me tell you about why we're the future of financial services.
Okay. So enough about me, because this isn't about me. Let me tell you why we're the future of financial services. So typically in the past, typically in the past, this industry has been dominated by one specific race or gender. And you wouldn't see someone like myself working in this industry. But now,
this is good.
It is good because I'm stumped.
This is good. Because at the end of the day, if you can't tell us what you've learned, right? Then well, let me tell you what's going to happen to her right now. Let me tell you, this is the best thing can ever happen to you. It's because right now you're getting exposed that you don't know it. So what are you going to do? I promise you will never feel this way again. If it matters.
No.
It's the best. It's the best. It's the best.
My ass off.
Yeah, it's the best thing that can ever happen to you. Why? Because you will remember how you feel right now. Let me give you an example. This guy, Kobe Bryant, behind me. Well, he's not
Mhm.
behind me, obviously.
Well, I can't see what's
Well,
behind you.
well,
But,
in spirit, he's behind me, right?
mhm.
But you get my point. Is Kobe? He airballed 3 times in one of the major games. I mean, a big game, and they passed him the ball to make one of the big shots. And he airballed 3 times in a row in the playoffs. He left that game, and he said, "You know what? I will never feel this embarrassed again. I will never, ever, ever feel this way, because I was on a major stage. I had people watching me, and I'm supposed to be this big shot. I'm supposed to be this next MD. I'm supposed to be this person next. I'm identified, and I airballed. I'm a professional athlete, and I airballed on one of the biggest stages. Not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row." You know what he said? He said, "I would never feel this way again." And
Yeah,
that's
no.
when his work ethic picked up, by the way. Going to read about him. That's when he picked up. That's when he said, "You know what? I will never feel this way." So he outworked everybody from there on. So this is not a bad thing.
No, it doesn't feel like a bad thing.
Good.
I've been focusing too much on the crusade and not on everything else. And I know what my focus needs to be on now.
It's all good. So the future financial services we talked about in class 2 was scripts, the recruiting interview, right? So future financial services, you learn, is not one gender, one race, not one culture. These big companies are terrible at marketing. They're trying to tap into different cultures, communities, but they cannot relate. Our agency here is serviced by the average agent is a 34-year-old multicultural female, completely opposite of the industry, right? So we're able to step into communities and cultures that have never been tapped into before. And that's why we're growing so fast. This is why we're going to be the future of financial services.
Got it.
So what's the problem? Hey guys, the future financial service is like the easiest conversation. What's the problem in the industry? The insurance companies are ran by what? One culture, one community, one gender. Okay. They're all about to retire. They cannot relate to America today because America is multicultural, right? They can't relate. All right, it's what it is, because people buy from who they know, like, and trust. Our agency is filled with what? Multicultural, 34-year-old, Hispanic, African-American, Caucasian, everybody. We got everybody. So we're able to tap into markets in America that has never been tapped into before. This is why we're the future of financial services. That's why we went from 1 office to 133 offices. If you want some ammo. And people say, "Why are you growing so fast?" Because we're able to step into different communities and cultures that this industry has never been able to tap into before. That's it. All right, you guys got the major notes. And if you want to learn the language, go watch PHP Education. It's Future Financial Services right under the hustle presentation. Cool. All right, Olivia. Looking forward to
practice.
I know. We're gonna pull you back up at the end. Don't worry.
That's fine.
We thought we're gonna let you
That's
go.
fine.
No, we're gonna bring you
No,
back.
I didn't assume that. That's fine.
All right,
I'm ready
bring
for
you
it.
back up. We're gonna bring you back up. We'll give you a water break real quick. All right, cool. Let's go to Sylvia Donahue is first one I see. Okay, 3 sets of eyes. With the 2-minute story and future financial services really quick, guys. It should only take all of that should literally take 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Are you my prospect?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and who's my trainee?
Shauna Hoover.
All right, my friend Shauna. Okay, so here we go. Hi Curtis, how are you doing today?
So well, thank you for asking.
Thank you so much. Hey, I just want to let you know up front that we really appreciate your time in helping Shauna out, and I'm gonna try to make this add some value to you and be something that you'll remember and something you can pass on, okay?
Okay.
All right. So first thing is I would like for you to look at this presentation with 3 sets of eyes. The first set is for recruiting or about recruiting. And it's for anyone that may be interested in a job change or interested in making more money. As a matter of fact, are you interested in making more money, Curtis?
Yes.
You are? Okay, that's great. Well, we will absolutely talk about that later on in the presentation, okay?
Okay.
All right. And then the second set of eyes would be questions. Not everyone is very familiar with, finances and how finances work and some of the products that are offered to them, or the options that they even have available to them financially. So I want you to ask as many questions as you need to, and feel free to, inquire about anything that we say here. And then the third, of course, is referrals. And that is if you know of anyone that could get value from the information that I'm going to be providing to you, that would be some awesome referrals for Shauna. Okay, so let's just go on, and I'd like to explain to you a little bit more. About far as I'm concerned, my 2-minute story is, no, I'm sorry, scratch that. I didn't say 2-minute story. About me, I'm actually a person that was bred in the corporate world. I worked in corporate America for 46 years. And for those 46 years, I found that I was never really fulfilled in the thing that I had to do. It was pretty much robotic, and I really wasn't helping anyone. And so consequently, someone introduced me to this business, and I began to grow a passion for what this business is all about, okay? And that is life insurance. So that's what we're doing with Shauna. We're teaching her and training her on how to have that same type of passion, if you will. All right, and a little bit about the future of financial services. The thing is, these companies that you see over to your right, American National, AIG, Mutual of Omaha, those companies basically were having a difficult time kind of marketing their own business, because they basically use one type of person to promote their business, or one type of person to represent them. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know how a white male could go into Compton and offer these services to someone in Compton. Do you?
Compton? I mean, Compton's kind of changing a little bit, but
yeah, but not so much. I mean, going around knocking on doors, you should probably be a different you should be of a different demographic and be able to identify with the people that you're going to be talking to. Okay, so
I'll stop you.
Okay.
Okay, to protect yourself.
Okay.
All right.
Don't say that. All right, I won't.
Yeah, you might want to move that out your language.
Okay.
You'll protect yourself. Just say one gender.
Okay.
One culture. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. One gender, one culture.
One culture. Mm-hmm.
All right. One generation. Those are your three, right? One gender.
Right.
Gender is probably gonna be male.
Okay.
You know the culture is Caucasian, and then lastly, the generation is probably going to be a baby boomer.
Okay. Okay.
So
cool.
Protect yourself with future financial services. Just say those three things.
Yes, sir. All right. You know, that's the militant coming out in me. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Oh, good. All right.
Okay. So yes. So basically, a lot of these companies, they only had one type of person that they would have to promote their products. So with our company, the average person in our company is like a 35-year-old female. And so consequently, we are able to work to reach various demographics within the community and even outside of the community. So is that it? Am I done?
For the most part, we need to clean your language up a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Let me tell you why. What type of business would you like to have? Would you want to? Let me ask you a real question. It's a very direct question. Okay.
Okay.
Would you want a business that only tailors to one market, or would you like to have all markets you override?
All markets.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Then you need to watch your language then. Okay.
Okay.
Because you're tailoring your language to one market, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want. Then that's why I asked you what type of business you want.
Okay.
But if you want to override all markets, you got to relate to all markets with your with your tongue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get it. I can take that correction very well. Thank you.
That's for everybody on this call. The system's the same, but if you want to override all markets, okay, which means you want to override the Asian community, you want to override the Black community, you want to override Caucasian community, you want to override every community there is. You got to be able to speak to every community.
Okay.
Same exact. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If you want one market, then obviously speak that one market. That's your decision as a business owner.
Right. That's true.
So I just want to make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that based on what you want, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
you can always look on a team and see, okay, what language, if it's very multicultural, you see
Yeah.
that what the language is multicultural. If it's one race, you can say, oh, you speak one race, and that's fine. Again, I'm telling you, that's perfectly fine if that's the business you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so you have to make that decision on what type of business you want, and that's the language you will speak consistently. Moving forward.
Yes, sir.
All right, I want to bring that up. So
Okay.
if you hear our language when I speak, my language is very
Universal.
universal. However, if I'm speaking on a one-on-one basis and it is a cultural talk, then I can switch it because I
Okay.
can speak that language if
I
necessary.
get it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So
Mhm.
in business, there's multiple languages you can speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just gotta know
There's
which one
time to
to turn
speak
on, when to turn off.
Ebonics. There's a time to speak regular. I get it. Yeah.
All right, you
Okay.
understand what I'm saying? All
I
right.
do.
So all right. So some of you might say, "What the hell he's talking about?" Okay. The key is
No.
you got to know when you need to go and you're on the course and you're talking golf talk. Versus
Right.
you in the hood and you need to talk real talk to see, you know, that people know you can't come step up to you though a certain way. Like you got to know how to
Absolutely.
switch your language
Yeah.
if necessary. Do you know how to switch it?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
You
work
gotta know
on
what
that.
platforms you are and what you're speaking on. Does that make sense? All
Yes,
right.
sir. Thank you so much.
No worries. Guys, does anybody have any questions on what we're talking about here today?
I do. Can you go over the 3 sets of eyes one more time just so I know that I have it down correctly, please?
Easy. Hey, Lupe. All right. I want you to listen to this presentation three different ways. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to say yes. Okay, cool. So the first way is I want you to let me know if you know anyone that would not mind supplementing their income. Okay. Especially at times like this. Wouldn't mind supplementing their income. All right. Can I ask you a question? You're going to say, sure.
Yes. Sorry,
Right.
I'm trying to take
I know,
notes
right at the
on my
same time.
phone.
It's all
Yeah.
good. It's all good. It's a statement question, okay? And I'm going to say something like this. I'm going to say, well, great. Do you mind making more money right now? Would you mind supplementing your income if there's an opportunity for that? Are you open to making more money? You can say it however you want. It's just real question is, are you open to making more money? You're going to say yes or no. Either if you're yes, then I know in back of my head, I'm going to recruit you. Okay, I'm gonna say, great. I'm gonna talk about that later in the conversation, maybe. If you say no, I'm gonna say no worries. Again, if you know anyone that could benefit, please let Sylvia know, because that'll be a great referral for her as she's building an agency. Secondly, I want you to look at this presentation. Again, I don't want to assume that you know a lot of our conversation here today. Now, I'm gonna talk a lot about financial concepts and strategies. I want you to ask a lot of questions if you can. And I also might show you an example what some of this can look like for you too. And lastly, if what I show you here today, you feel confident in, hopefully you feel confident in giving referrals to Shauna. Hopefully you feel confident in giving referrals to Meredith. Hopefully you feel confident in giving referrals to Pat. Hopefully you feel confident in giving referrals to Olivia. If what I show you here that you feel confident in, hopefully you will feel confident as well in giving referrals to who? Get my point? That's what you say.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome to tell my 2-minute story. So let me tell you a little bit about how I got into this industry. My background's in basketball. Okay, I found out that I got hurt. Okay, next I got to figure out what I was going to do next in my life. I still wanted to solve for time and money. Well, I was introduced to this company. This company allowed me to do so much more to be able to have that. Okay, let me tell you my vision here. Great, enough about me. So I tell my 2-minute story. Enough about me. Let me tell you about why we're considered the future of financial services. These big major companies such as AIG, Fidelity, and many other firms, they have one gender, one culture, and one generation that represents them. There's nothing wrong with that again. However, we can agree that America is very multicultural here today, yes? Yes. Okay, great. So what makes us so different and why we're considered the future is that our agency is very multicultural. Our average agent is 34 years old, okay? And our leading gender is a woman. Completely opposite of what the industry looks like. And that's why we're growing so fast. We went from one office to over 133 offices in less than 10 years. Would you think we're growing? I think you think we're growing. And we're just getting started. So let me explain what's going on in this industry. Now go right to supply and demand. And it's the same talk as last week, which is the same recruiting conversation. If you were going to start a business, Lupe, what you started with, more people are doing it, less people are doing it. Less people are doing it. Okay, great. And that's why you see that Shauna is starting in the business right now, because it's not that many people are doing it. However, supply always catches demand. This is the products and services that she's going to be able to offer. And I always, this is the key of field trainers. Field trainers, you always use the trainee's name. So that's why you're there. You consistently keep using the trainee's name. That's how you protect yourself. Let me tell you what Sylvia is going to be able to do, Lupe, in this industry. Here's the products and services. Out of these 7, Lupe, which ones do you own or which ones are you most familiar with? You gonna tell me?
Life insurance and 401k.
Okay, perfect. And we'll talk about some of the others if you're open to it later on. All right. And then you talk about the carriers, right? Distribution. Right. The cool thing about Shauna and her business is that she's not just one company. She's able to market for a lot of different companies. You go into that. All right. Then you go into the new life insurance. There's 2 types of life insurance. There's old life insurance and new life insurances. Today, I'm gonna talk about the new life insurances here today. And I'm gonna go about the 3. It's the same conversation as recruiting. But now I leverage the trainee more in my conversation. I just say the trainee's name. This is what Shauna's going to be able to do. This is a service she's going to be able to offer. This is the reason why Shauna got in the industry. This is why. So I just leverage the trainee in my whole conversation. Do you see how that's different than recruiting? That's what I said. It's kind of the same thing, but you're just shifting the trainee in your conversation now. You're just saying the trainee's name consistently. I hope you guys are getting that, because that's the key. Because again, you got to understand the language of when you got them to come. If you do the scripts the right way, and the person that set the field training is saying, hey, my trainer is going to show their video and going to tell a little bit about themselves and what they do. And field trainers means I need about 20 or 30 minutes, okay, so that they can explain that, so that I can learn the language of the industry. So them setting up the call that way, that's a field training appointment. Then the trainer saying your name and you're listening, that's exactly what they expect, because that's how you set up the call anyways. So a field trainer has to say their name and has to be able to explain for the next 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it is, saying this is the training for Belinda. This is the training for Champagne. It's a training. Does it make sense, guys? I believe it does. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as we're going through this conversation.
Yeah, it really does. I actually, you're talking about telling stories and how stories sell, and I said that I was kind of apprehensive about this crusade as opposed to what I was using before, because I thought it was more, emotional, but I was able to use this crusade and tell stories, and then it's just a skeleton, like you said. So I appreciate it for this.
No worries. Killer. So let's keep going to the next conversation. So it's very easy. If you notice that everything we're talking about, there's nothing new. I'm not talking about anything new. It's all been a buildup. The only thing new today is the 3 sets of eyes. But you guys already should know your 2-minute story. We talked about the first week, right? That's the first thing you should know, your 2-minute story. Future financial services, we talked about it on recruiting when we did scripts. All right, so you need to know that for yourself. The only new thing we're adding to the mix is what? 3 sets of eyes. That's it. It's the only thing different. So let's say that you're able to do the 3 sets of eyes now. Okay, then you go into telling your 2-minute story. Then you go and explain the future financial services, which will take 2 minutes. You explain the crusade. Same crusade as last week, nothing different. You go towards the end. Okay, you're in the end part, which is, hey, did we make a good impression? There's 3 ways to partner up. Cool. And now you transition to FLS. All right, and the question is very simple. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today? Did it add any value to you here today? Yes, it did. Okay, do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today? It's really that simple. Hey, Pat, did this conversation add any value to you here today? You're going to say, yeah, okay, great. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today? Hey, Damien, from our conversation today, did it add any value to you?
Yes, sir, it did.
Okay, great. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today?
Please do.
Do you see did you see what I just did? It's a buildup. You already, the conversation, if you do this the right way, if you just do the crusade, it adds value. Like, you can't tell me it don't add value. So after it adds value, I already know it added value. So the question is going to be very simple. Hey, Anthony, did we add value here today at all?
Yes, you did.
Okay, great. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're going to say yes. Unless they're just like really like, and you're going to get some of those. It's like 1 out of 100, guys. Really, it's like 1 out of 100. It's like, oh, dang, this is not really going anywhere. All right, let's get off this call. All right, sometimes you get calls like that. Is what it is. Sometimes you got bad shooting nights. All right, it's what it is. So you have to be able to ask that question to get to FLS though. A lot of you guys leave so much money on the table because you don't ask this question. You don't know how to transition to the FLS and get the information. But you're not going to leave any more money on the table because you're going to ask this question and because you know you added value. All right, because you obviously study your craft and you'll be able to perform. So Anna, go ahead and ask that question to Cody. You already explained the crusade. You explained it already. And now I want you to transition to FLS. Go ahead, transition.
Okay. Okay, Miss Cody.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Cody. So let me ask you, do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end here today? It won't take very long.
Sure thing.
Awesome.
Wow, was that hard?
No.
You know how much that question, how much money it can make you?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is not like a hype talk. Like that question, that simple question to FLS. Let me do simple math. Okay. And so a lot of you guys are logical. So let me help you out logically since it's not emotional sometimes. If take one person that asks that question, okay? He does 10 appointments or she does 10 appointments, ask that question 10 times versus somebody that doesn't ask that question ever. They run the same amount of appointments. How much more money do you think the first person makes than the second person?
10 times more.
Exponentially.
It's not even fair. Because you guys, I don't know if you guys know the field training guide. So let me guys give you numbers. I'm not like someone who just yells out stuff. So let me give you real numbers. If I book 12 appointments, 8 are going to show. So I get on the phone right now and I book 12 appointments, 8 are going to show. What does that mean? That means 4 canceled, huh? Okay. So if 8 show, that means I did 8 appointments. So if I do 8 appointments, then I will get 5 FLSs. So 5 out of 8, it should be my FLS count. So if I do 8 appointments and I don't get 5 FLSs, something's wrong with you. That means you're scared to ask the question. Okay. 3 are going to become clients out of that 5 FLSs. So if I get 5 FLSs, 3 out of 5 will actually become a client. That means 2 cancel because maybe obesity, pre-existing conditions, whatever it is. Okay. So 2 are going to cancel and 1 in the field is going to get started. That is just your numbers. Does that mean it could be better? Of course it could be better. But we're talking field training here today. So I'm going to give you real numbers on field trainings. So let's take that. You run 12 field training appointments and you don't ask that simple question. If you don't ask that question, you don't get the 5 FLSs you're supposed to get. You don't even get 3 clients. So exponentially, that's what you just said. Every week you can't compete because what's that first person going to do? They're going to duplicate that. The second person going to duplicate not asking the question. They don't get no FLSs ever. And then wonder why they don't make money. Because you're so dependent on internal consumption all the time. And that's it. So this person gets internal consumption and field training FLSs. You can't compete. Like, it's impossible. Okay. So that's your real numbers behind it. So you understand 12, 8, 5, 3, 1. 12 booked appointments, 8 will show. 5 FLSs, which is fact finders. Okay. 3 will become clients. One out of those 12 appointments you booked will become a business partner. So if you just wanted to run just a field training system only, just know every time you book 12 appointments, you get one business partner. The same way you run 10-3-1. Every time you invite 10 to a BOM, you get what? 1 started. It's the same. It's the same numbers, just field training versus BOM style. Okay, cool. Meredith, you had a question before we go into the next phase?
Yeah, so when you're transitioning to the FLS, you run, you do the Crusade. Did I make a good impression? They say yes. And so where is it that you ask them? Do I ask you a couple? Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Right after a partner. So I asked, hey, right after that, I just asked. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I've been doing this for a while, Meredith. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right. So out of these 3, which one's most interesting to you? Which one's your biggest interest?
Okay.
You get to be referrals, free consultation, whatever you say. I don't really care. So I'm gonna shift because it's a field training. Okay. So you're gonna say whatever you say. Perfect. Well, we're almost here. We're almost done today. Did any of this today add value to you? You say yes. The key is this, guys. If they say partnership, I'm getting them coded. That makes sense? I'm going for the recruit first. But if they say anything 1 or 2, it's straight FLS.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So if they say partnership, we're going for the code, of course, because I get that. What's going to happen if I code you up? You automatically become a client. That's a straight FLS automatically. But 1 and 2 is dependent on FLS if I don't ask the question. 3 automatically gives me FLS. 1 and 2, you have to ask for the FLS. So when I ask, I say, well, out of these 3, which one's your most biggest interest? Oh, 1, referrals. Okay, great. Well, did any of this conversation add value here today to you? Yeah, it did. Okay. Well, do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we get in here today? Straight transition. Make sense? If you say 1 or 2, I'm going to go, well, great. Well, great. Well, great. And then I'm going to say, hey, did any of this conversation again add value to you? Did any of this conversation again add value to you? Did any of this conversation add value to you? And then I'm going to ask that simple question. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we enter today? Yes. Okay, great. And I just pull up the FLS. I don't have to pull it up because our Crusade actually, it's the next slide. So I just slide right into it and just ask, and then we just do it.
Hey, Curtis, can I ask a question on that?
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that I was noticing, and I felt it immediately, like right after you said, if you might ask a couple of questions, the story I was telling myself was if you do that, then what happens is I'm saying they may get a little spooked or something about, well, wait a minute, why are you taking my information down? So what's your answer to that?
So it's so simple. What's the key to this whole field training appointment?
Training.
For who?
For the recruit.
For the trainee. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When in doubt, leverage the training. So if you get any type of, well, it's so simple. You say, do you mind if I ask a couple questions for Anna's training before we end here today?
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
When in doubt, you just leverage the training again.
Yeah.
And then they say, that's how you get everything, by the way. You guys don't use field training for the purpose of field training. So like my point is, like, if I want to get a policy out of you, Ron, like you say I ask you and I say, hey, do you have life insurance, Ron? And you say, yeah, I have a policy. Well, great. Well, Anna has never seen a policy before. Do you mind if we see one like yours really quick so she can see what a live policy looks like? It'd be best for her training. That's how I get that's how I get you pull up the policy because I'm leveraging Anna.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's good.
Makes sense?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I see rings from popping on hands. This is little languages stuff. The reason why most people get stuff and they don't. That's why you get statements. This is why you get like, because they don't know you. So of course they're gonna feel awkward. Remember this again. You are the trainer. They don't know you. Like you're a random person to them. So them showing you stuff or giving you information, why would they? The only reason why they're giving you information is simply because of the trainee. Because there's trust there and you're the credibility. Don't forget what training is about. There's trust and credibility. That's why people are open. Because you got logic and emotion. All right. Guys, that's only the second page. We haven't got to anything else there. So let's keep going. That's funny. It's easy, guys. It's easy. You just go 3 sets of eyes. It takes literally 30 seconds. Any 2-minute story should only take less than 2 minutes. And then future financial service take you 3 minutes. And you explain the crusade. You heard Cody say it himself. It took him 15 minutes to explain the crusade to get someone coded. All right. Explain the crusade with the questions you learned last week. And then you just ask the question if they say what? 1 or 2. 1 or 2, you say, okay, great. Okay, great. Did any of this conversation add value to you? Okay. Well, do you mind if I ask a couple questions before we end today? It'll be so great for Anna's training. It'll be so great for Brandon's training. It'll be so great for Merida's training. If you feel awkwardness, leverage the who? Training. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see you guys' income's rising right now. I see it. I see it. I see it. All right, cool. So this is the next one. The key to the field training, okay, one of the major points in a field training presentation is explaining this: 3 ways money grows. The major key in the crusade when you're doing field training and using the crusade is explaining 3 ways money grows. If you do this the right way, it's the easiest thing to find out what people have without even having to do an FLS. It's the easiest way. This is how they give you ammo. They give you ammo before you even have to do it. So 3 ways money grows. This is a quick presentation, visually shows the simplicity and the power of an IUL or a fixed index annuity. A fixed index annuity. It's the same language you learned last week, but it's the power behind it. So you can use stories. When you're doing field trainings now, you can leverage more stories for this part. So you might hear stories like, I use this story all the time. The bowling example. You guys maybe heard of it. Some of you may not have heard of it. I use a bowling example all the time. I say, hey, me and my family are pretty competitive. And I'm assuming, Ron, you've been bowling before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's say that me, my wife, and my son, we go bowling, okay?
Okay.
All right. So there's 3 strategies in bowling. So my son, he thinks he's like strong, but he really isn't. He's like literally just turned 6. All right. So you always supposed to grab like the biggest ball though. So I kind of like weird. I'm like, man, like you're a little boy. Like grab the like little like 8 ball, but he wants to grab like the 14 or 15, like the big heavy one, right? His head, he's big, right? So he grabs those big balls and he can't really pick it up for himself. So I have to help him pick it up, and he can't really bowl by himself because he's not strong enough yet. So what we have to do is get like these little rails. Guy, you ever see the rails that they kind of like does it for them? You ever see that? Okay, cool. So he puts it on there, and I have him push it as hard as he can. And guess what happens every time? He hits a pin. He's excited. We're all clapping for him. The whole family's clapping for him. He's fired up, but he's guaranteed to hit a pin. That would be called fixed. That's a fixed strategy here. You're fixed. You're gonna hit a pin. You're not gonna hit all pins. You're just gonna hit a pin. Okay. So he's excited. I, in essence, think I'm good. So when I say I think I'm good, like literally, like I think I'm a pro, Ron. Like I think I'm like legit. So what I do is I come in with my own ball bag, like I come with my own shoes. I even have a glove too. And I go in there, I do the thing with the leg. You know, when you turn the ball, you do the thing with the leg because you watch ESPN too much and you think they can do it too. So I went on Amazon, bought the gear, thought I was good. So I got a lot more gutter balls, unfortunately, than I got strikes. Because I like literally nothing's protecting me. So sometimes I got strikes. I got a lot of strikes, but however, I got more gutter balls. I did. I got a lot more gutter balls. My wife, she stands up. She looks at me. She looks at Cole, and she goes, "I'm gonna beat you guys." And we're very competitive. So we're like, "You're gonna beat us. Get out of here." She's like, no, I promise you I'll beat you guys. And she goes up to the little podium thing, presses a button, the bumpers come up. And then she goes, time to beat you. And she closes her eyes. She's bowling backwards between her legs. Oh, this showing off. And every time she rolls, she's hitting strikes and major pins. And she's never hit a gutter ball her whole time she was there.
Wow.
Who win that game?
That's a good analogy.
Who should win the game?
Oh, she's gonna kill you.
She should have won the game, right?
Right.
Right, because she never hit a gutter ball. So my point is this: when it comes to your money, doesn't it make sense to win the game too?
Man, that's good. Shucks, stealing it.
That's how we explain those three: fixed, variable, indexing. That's a story for you, huh? It sticks in your head, huh?
Man.
Thank you for that, because I've been trying to use the blackjack, but I just realized how many people actually have never played blackjack. So then I end up having to explain blackjack, and they don't know how to answer the question I'm trying to ask. So that one right there is going to be killer.
Yeah, man, everyone's been bowling. But what if you talk to a pastor and he's like, well, let's talk about blackjack right now. He's like, gambling. Oh, I'm not gambling right now. Well, he's not supposed to, right? So yeah, blackjack works, man. But depending on, again, your audience, bowling's universal. That's why I use bowling. Make sense, guys? So that's a story for you. That's a story for you. You can use blackjack as a story if you wanted to too, but bowling's a story.
I like the cow.
Yeah, that's not gonna work very well. So yeah, he tried to explain this. All right, let me tell you what happened. Since he brought it up, now I got to put you on front. All right. So we're at my dad's house, and we're sitting down, all the family there, and he's trying to explain indexing. Right? He's trying to explain indexing, and he explains with this cow analogy. And I'm pretty smart, right? I would think I'm pretty smart. And I was like, I don't understand what the hell you said. Like, I don't get it. You lost me in the first 30 seconds. And he goes, no, right? I said, okay, let's see. Let me explain indexing to Madison, which is 11 years old at that point. All right. And you explain your analogy indexing and see which one she understands. So he goes, explains to her. And she looks and she goes, what are you talking about? So I explained. She goes, I go, what strategy would you use out of those three? She goes, oh, I would bowl like mommy. I want index. I want bumpers up. That's indexing. I never lose. I want that one. Never lose and I win. I said, cool. He couldn't handle it. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face. He can't handle it. Look at his face. He still can't handle it. But my point is, if 11-year-old can't understand your analogy,
I'm trying to unmute myself. My story is better.
Right? We want to pull Maddie down here in a minute, right?
Can we get the cow analogy so we know what the other side sounds like?
Let's save it for another time. I don't want to take away your minutes.
Oh man,
you're distracted. My point is this: if 11-year-old cannot understand your story, then your story is too complicated.
That is so good.
Does that make you gotta simplify it? Like if your story cannot be explained where they can go talk about it, then it's a little too complicated. All right. So let's just use whatever analogy you want to use. I'm not telling you what story you need to use. I'm just saying to make sure that what's that show? A fifth grader? Can you teach a fifth grader? Or are you smarter than a fifth grader or something like that? Fifth grader needs to be able to understand what you said. Okay. So cool. So then again, this is a quick presentation. And it visually shows what? Indexing, fixed index annuities, and should be used, it says should be used as an option whenever discussing someone's variable products as an alternative solution. This is how you find out if they have variable products. This is how you find out if they have a 401k in the presentation. It's similar to when we had in this conversation when we say, out of these 7, which ones do you own or which ones you're familiar with? Remember that question you ask on products and services? You guys remember that question, right? Okay. And this is a similar question. Out of these 3 strategies, which one are you most familiar with or which one are you using? It's the same question. Or what they get to tell you? Oh, I'm in the variable situation. Oh, that's nice. Okay, cool. Are you more a real estate guy, 401k, mutual funds? Which one's your preference? Oh, I have a 401k. Oh, cool. Is that like more through your job, or is that kind of like someone, a past employer? Past employer. Oh, nice. Oh, maybe we'll talk about that in the future. See how questions could just tell me everything you just have real quick? And you just keep going on. Okay, so next is explain the principal protection with the $100 example in the market. And this illustration to the right, you can explain that. Okay, you can use, it's supposed to be a 100K example, but it says 100, and it says 100, so it's supposed to be 100K. Here about, I'll just change it for you guys are screenshotting. There you go. Okay, 100K example. So this is from PHP. So it says $100,000. You say if you had your money starting at $100,000, which is what your money would look like based on what the market did. Okay. You say if you use fixed, you'll be in the blue line. If you use variable, you'll be go up when the market goes up. You go down when the market goes down. Okay. So you're losing money, huh? So you started with 100,000. You made some money. You were excited, but you didn't like it too much here, huh? But then it goes back up. But obviously right now we're where? We're back down. Okay. But what if fixed and variable had a baby? They called it indexing, and they had safety and growth. So your money grew when everybody else grew, but it also kept winning when everyone else lost. I assume you work hard for your money, Ron. I assume you work hard for your money. I assume, this is my language, I assume you work hard for your money.
Yeah.
So if you had to choose a roller coaster to be on with your money, which one would you choose?
I like the index.
And that's what we do for our clients. That's what Shauna does for her clients. That's what Anna does for her clients. That's what Champagne does for her clients. That's what Wendy does for her. That's how you build credibility in your trainee. Aren't you excited that this is what she's going to be able to start helping families with? Aren't you excited what Brandon Brash is going to be able to do for families now moving forward? Aren't you excited what C3 is going to be able to do for families forward? Because look at the other two. Look at what you're going to be able to show them. Isn't that kind of cool?
Definitely.
That's how you lead a prospect and being excited just the way you're excited about the presentation. Cool. All right. And then that's the 100K exam. Best used during the FLS when discovering the client has a variable products like a 401k IRA. Okay, and let's role play. So guys, very simple. You can choose whatever story you want. I use the bowling example because it's the one that sticks in everyone's head. You can use a blackjack example too if you wanted to. We're not here to tell you what story you need to use. Some don't even use stories. Some people just explain it just like this. If you want to keep it bear market, this is exactly how it goes. Hey, there's three types of way that money grows. Fixed is savings, CDs, money market, and bonds. There's no growth there, as you know. You're not making a lot of money there, but there is what? Safety. That's the positive. In a variable type of strategy, that probably means you're probably using a 401k, mutual funds, some stocks, or even real estate. As you know, the con of it is you're not gonna have any protection, so you can lose a lot of money there. But we are enticed to use it because there's what? Growth. So what if fixed and variable got married and had a baby? They would call it indexing. Okay, where you have both safety that what fixed gives you, and you also have growth that variable gives you.
Wow, that's good.
Now you just ask the two questions at the end. Well, Ron, out of these three strategies, which one are you most familiar with, or which one are you using at this moment?
I think we're doing, I got the 401k, so I'm doing a variable thing, I think.
Okay, so you're more in a variable situation. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Is this with the current employer or a past employer?
Past.
Past employer. So what did I just find out?
Yeah, I got money from a previous employer.
So what can I do with that, field trainers?
Roll it like dough.
Roll it over.
Roll it over. That's money. That's it. Roll over, baby. So that's in your head. Do I say, oh my gosh, you have that sitting? No, I say. That's exciting. maybe we'll talk about some options towards the end.
Curtis, I noticed that speed is important in how we do the presentation. But even when you explained it just recently without your story, it didn't connect with me. I really like the way you told the story because I just had a solid understanding of fixed, variable, and I really like that. So I guess you could do it that other way. But now, would we tell your story or would we tell their story? Would I say, hey, this is how my broker explains it, or something like that? What's going to happen there?
Hey, you can make the story up. Does that make sense? Like, it's just a story.
Got you.
You can say, you can use all three of them. This is when I used to do it.
Yeah.
If I have me, I have a trainee, and I have the prospect, I would use us three as examples.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
And I would make the prospect indexing. I would make my trainee fixed, and I'm variable.
You're the worst, right?
I want to be the one that takes the loss. I'm okay with taking the loss.
Good.
Right? I want to make my trainee still look good, but I want my prospect to feel the greatest.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
I just input them in the conversation. Well, let's just say that we all went bowling, and then I'll give a strategy. You know, there's 3 strategies of bowling. Let's say that you just want to hit 1 pin every time. Well, that would be like Anna. Anna will get the rail. She'll get the ball. She'll push it down. She'll hit a pin every time. Let's say that you thought you were really good. That would be me. I think I'm really good. So therefore, I'm going to use a variable strategy. I think I could beat the market. So I get my glove. I get my ball and all that. And I bowl. And unfortunately, I get more gutter balls than I get more strikes. But you know what, Ron? You're kind of smart. You're actually smarter than both of us. You know what you say? He says, you know what? I like winning like you do when you hit strikes, but I don't like losing either. So you know what you would do? You would press the button, the bumpers would come up, and every time you would bowl, you would hit all pins. And you would never get a gutter ball. Who do you think should win out of these 3? Out of you, me, or Anna? And you would say?
Yeah, I should.
I should, exactly. So don't you think you should win when it comes to your money too?
Yeah, I do. Yes, you can roll my money over. That's good, man. That's a good one.
So you can use your clients and the trainee as examples too if you don't want to use your family.
That's good. That's good. Thanks.
Cool. Anybody have any other questions on the 3 ways money grows? Really, no questions. So everyone can explain these 3 ways money grows then, right?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
What I'm not really understanding is it says best used during the FLS when discovering the client has variable products. What if we're in the middle of the presentation and you get to the FLS, what is best used?
So say sometimes you just, for some of you guys, you won't even use a presentation. You'll just go straight to the FLS. So let's say, there's no presentation involved. You go straight to FLS because they just say, I just want insurance. You ever had a client like, you guys will start getting that eventually when people are just going to say,
yeah,
I just want insurance. You just tell me how to get insurance. Okay, cool. I'm just going to pull up an FLS. I don't even need to do Crusade.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. So my point is when you're already doing an FLS and you have not explained this already, this is good to explain so they understand that what they're in. A lot of people don't get what they're in. So this is a visual of showing this is what you're in. I don't know if you know that you're in no safety, but you do have growth. There's an opportunity where you can get out that red line and put it to the green line. Okay. That's what I'll be able to do. So it's just a visual basis of showing people even through and when you're doing the FLS, this is a good thing to reference back to as well.
Okay. Okay.
Make sense? Because at the end of the day, money only goes 3 ways. So if they're in this variable account, my job is to roll it over to indexing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but visual, man, just because you explain it once doesn't mean they got it either. You'll learn that too. All right. So cool. So Champagne, explain 3 ways money grows.
Hey, coach, real quick, I had a question. I couldn't unmute. Sorry.
All right, no worries. And then she, oh man, I wanted her to get her right when she just had to go. Now she had to get to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, I knew it was going to. I literally knew it was going.
One of the ways I transition into this when I'm doing the crusade is I ask people are they aware of the 3 ways that money grows? Most people say no. Every once in a while I get somebody that says yes. But is that a good question to ask? And then asking them, do you mind if I explain?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I'm trying to stay as system as possible.
Simple. Keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, that's it. Keep it as simple as possible. All right, let's go, Champagne.
All right, Curtis, are you familiar with the 3 ways that money grows?
No.
No, okay. I'm just gonna go over it really quickly with you. So the first way is fixed. This is gonna be your savings accounts, your CDs, your money market, and bonds. This way that money grows, there's no growth, but there is safety. So that just means that your money is accessible. You know that it's going to be there. The second way is going to be variable. So there's definitely no safety there, but there is an upside potential. So this is going to be your 401ks, mutual funds, individual stocks, and even real estate is actually considered variable. The last way is going to be basically if fixed and variable had a baby, right? And that baby's name is going to be indexed. So this is where you have the safety of your money and you also have the upside potential for growth. If you don't mind me asking, which one of these strategies are you currently using?
I'm using variable.
Okay, if I could maybe give you a little bit more information about that and show you some of your options, would you be interested in hearing about that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Good job. It's really that easy. Good job.
I knew I would have messed up the bowling one, so I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna read it.
That's why my point is this: when in doubt, just read the script. Like it says it right there. No growth, safety. You can see there's a negative there. There's a positive. Well, there's a positive variable is growth. The negative is what? No safety. Well, indexing, there's both positives. Out of these 3, which one would you use? It's just read it. Like, you know, something like I got work. When in doubt, just read it. That's why it's there. Just read it. Okay. So good job. Guys, the 100K example here is also a good one for people who don't understand indexing. It also explains there are 2 options to withdraw your money when you use an indexing. It's a fixed index annuity type of product. The key to this is role playing. The key to this is role playing. For time, we're not going to be able to sit here and obviously role play with 27 different people consistently. Okay, that's going to be obviously hard. But for you, it's your job. And what is like, think about if you were at school. If you were at school, you just learned something good. What would you do? You'll go into small groups and you would have a conversation about it, right? So are you guys communicating as a team, as a whole team here and saying, oh man, let me reach out to Wendy. Oh, Wendy's not on SF. Like, I'm not a part of SFG. So what? Like, she's still on your squad. You guys still in the same squad. You guys are in the same class. So hey, Wendy, can we role play a little later today? When you have time to role play? I don't know you yet. I want to like to know you. Let's role play together. Like, do you guys reach out to each other and role play so you guys are equipping each other so that what happens is everyone feels confident that everyone's doing the same presentation and scaling? Because if everyone could do the same thing, then we can duplicate ourselves tremendously. But let's say that Merited does one presentation and then I have Sylvia that does another presentation and I have Sierra does another presentation and I have Kevin that does another presentation. When I match out, I'm like, what the hell y'all saying to my people? I have no clue like what's going on. So then when I match you out and you're training one of my directs that I bring on board, I'm like, what are you training them? What are you saying to them? What's being duplicated? Do you get the point of what if 27 people on this call all were able to do the same thing, scale the same way? We exponentially duplicate because you can match up the catch up. Do you know what match up the catch up means? I don't know if like a lot of you guys are not big yet. A lot of you guys don't have big teams, but you guys can catch up to any big team by matchup to catch up. Matchup to catch up means I go wide and I have field trainers I can leverage. So say I'm the smallest person on this call. I only have one direct. Say, hell no, don't even say I don't have one direct. Say I only have no directs. It's just me. Okay. This is me. I don't have nothing going on. All right. But I want to be as big as Ron Osborne. I want to catch SMD. I want to catch Iron Man. I want to catch him. Okay. So he has a big squad. He has multiple marketing directors. I want to catch him. I'm brand new. Do you know you can catch him? Let me be very clear. You know you can catch him, right? You know how you catch somebody like that and you don't have nobody? You can catch me. You can pass me up. Please pass me up. My point is, you can do it. How? Simple. Only thing you do is go wide and you match everybody out. You can only lock onto one person, by the way. You only got 24 hours in a day. So you say you go 5 wide, you go 5 wide, you go 10 wide, you go 20 wide. It's more probability if you go wide. So say I go 20 wide. I match out 19 people. Okay? 19 people. I lock on the one. I work with my one. I field train them. And the 19 other people are being matched out, running field trains. And I say, hey, Ron, can you run with this person? I just need you to get them to FA. Hey, Anna, can you run with this person? I just need you to get them to director. Hey, can you run Champagne? Can you run with this person? Are you mad if I match you guys out?
No, not at all.
Because you're making money, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Are they mad? No, because they're getting what? Field trained and getting promoted. Am I mad? Heck no, I'm not there. I'm duplicating myself 20 times. I'm not even there. Does that make sense? But that only happens when we trust that you're all saying the same thing. Yeah, I don't trust you. I ain't matching you. I'll just do it myself. My schedule now, but I'll do it. No worries. Get my point?
Yes.
So this is when you say, you know what? Let me be a certified field trainer, because now I get matched out outside of my own team. I get matched out not just through my own hierarchy, but then PHP. Because when Melinda gets called, Apex is called, and they say, hey, do you have a field trainer out in the area? You say, yeah, here goes. And if you're one of the people that are performing, guess what? You're in the field trainer list, you get the first person that gets matched out. That's the game. All right. That's how you catch people, by the way. So that's called matchup to catch up. You might be small now, but if you go wide, you know how to match out, you can catch anybody in this company. That's a fact. All right. So let's go to the next slide. Anybody have any other questions before we go in? Guys, stand up real quick. Go and stretch a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Go get the blood flowing if you can.
Need to go to.
Go ahead. Let it blow. I'm about to transition. Okay. I'm about to transition to what's called an FLS now. Okay. Now, to gather an FLS is the key. This is where the money's at. This is where the money's made. Presentation's easy. Presenting doesn't make you money. Okay, presenting doesn't make you money. It's something that's very simple. Presentation is the lowest level of making money. It's very simple to do. You just memorize and you just do it. Okay. So let's talk about it. This, which is FLSs. Now, there's a couple different FLSs. You have a choice. You can do whatever your marketing director wants you to do. I'm not here to tell you. Every MD has the opportunity to run whatever FLS they want to operate or whatever they want to do in their base shop, because they own their own agencies. Okay. So the first FLS is through the company. Okay. And these will keep evolving, by the way, but the system doesn't change. These FLSs will evolve, but the system doesn't change. It's still fact finding. So you transition to the FLS whenever possible. All right. I already told you how to do it. So the FLS is a solution to finding money. All right. We can bring value to a client without knowing what's important to them and what they currently have. Okay. Those who do complete FLSs find the money. They discover ways to serve our clients. If I was able to find you something that can give you a peace of mind with the commitment of $200, of $100, whatever they say you had given, would there be any other reason why you would not move forward? This question right here is the reason why people make money or they don't from FLS. A lot of people don't confirm what they said, the client said they're going to do, and they don't ask this question. I'm not going to keep moving forward. I know this is I know this is a dead client. This is not going to happen. Like, I know that no policy is going to be written if they do not say yes to this. I don't keep wasting my time. So this is like my qualifying question at the end. I pick up the FLS. I ask the questions. They say, oh, I can commit to $100. Okay, great. If I was able to find you something that gives you a peace of mind with the commitment of $100 you had given, would there be a reason why you would not move forward? No, I would move forward. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna go find you something, and then we're gonna come back with the solution. If they say no or they hesitate, I know that it's done. Does that make sense? This is a very qualifying question. As a field trainer, this question right here lets me know if I'm going to go pull my resources. I'm going to call Mark Molina for annuities. If I'm going to go pull my resources for NLG and all that, like, I'm not going to sit there and do illustrations and none of that unless they say yes to this question.
Curtis.
Yes, ma'am.
So what if you have a client tells you up front, look, I got $250 I want to put toward a policy.
Yeah.
No need to go through this. Just deal with illustrations. They tell you up front, yeah, I have in conversation, they have a 401k.
No, I'm going to do an FLS on you. So you say I can commit to $250. I'm still doing an FLS and intake form. Because there might be more money. What's the key to the FLS? FLS is a solution finder. But most important right here, those who do a complete FLS find the what?
Discretionary income.
Yeah, find the money. So you find more money. So they say I can commit to 250. Great, you can, but it's fine. I found that you had a sitting 401k. I found that you have a 403b. I find that you have an IRA that's sitting around right now that's lost 20 grand. They didn't tell you that though, because they didn't know you could service it.
And I've had the opposite happen too, Curtis, where somebody told me, yeah, I can do $150 a month. And then after doing the FLS, it's like, dude, you don't got no $150 a month. Okay, we're gonna go 75. All right. So it works in both ways.
Yeah, that does work in both ways. Yeah, you don't want that client anyways, because that's a chargeback. Right. So that's funny. All right. So that's what the FLS looks like. You can pull that off of your back office in documents in myphpoffice.com. Oopsies. myphpoffice.com, and you can download that if you like. All right. So this question right here is everything. I'll repeat this again. This question, people say, like, how do you make money? If you don't ask that question the right way and you don't get the proper answer, you just really not, you can make a little bit of money, but consistently you're not. Okay, so the question is, if I was able to, again, to find you something that can give you a peace of mind, if I was able to find you something to give you a peace of mind, if I was able to find you something to give you peace of mind with the commitment of whatever they said you had given, would there be any other reason why you would not move forward? That's how you handle the objections. Okay. I just want to keep saying that because there's major things in field trainings that are pivots. They're pivotals in everything that you do in the conversation. So, all right, we'll move on to the next. Since no one has any questions on that, it's good. This is FLSB. This is the one I use, my base shop uses. Okay, this is one our sales manager, Brandon Ortiz, he gave us. I just upped it a little bit to a couple different things I wanted on it. But again, use whatever your marketing director tells you to use. Okay, use whatever your marketing director tells you to use. So again, transition to the FLS whenever possible. The FLS is solution finder. Those who do a complete, it's the same exact thing. All right, so it's just FLSB. This one's a little easier for me because I'm able to tell them exactly what their life insurance need is. Okay, it's been very helpful for us. So I get to figure out I kind of figure out everything, but I know what exactly their life insurance need is. But then we go to the retirement number and we figure out what the retirement number is. And then I tell them what the retirement number is, how much money they need to make. And then I figure out their budget. And then I tell them what the 3 things that need to be prepared for, which is die too soon, need a death benefit, disabled, long-term care, live too long, need some money. And then I get the minimum, max, and their commitment. After I get the commitment, I say the same exact thing. If I was able to find you something that can give you a peace of mind from the $100 commitment you just gave, would there be any reason why you would not move forward? No, there wouldn't be. Okay, great. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing. All right, so use whatever your MD tells you to use.
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
Would it be redundant to use both? Because when Brandon Ortiz came in the office, like my first 2 weeks in the business, he said run the El Papelito to show them their insurance need, and then the FLS to be sure that they can afford what you're showing them.
Yeah, you can run it that way as well. For us, it's been easier just to run it this way. 'Cause I find the budget right there. Now, if I don't believe them, then obviously you just keep diving into it. But I like the FLS. Something wrong with the FLS.
I know you said you updated it. You sent it to me, but it didn't come through. Where can we find this? Is there somewhere we can find this?
Yeah, I mean, I posted it many times in the band.
Oh, okay.
It's all
There's
good.
so much going on in there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I'll post it again. Crusade with the FLS. I'll post in the Crusade band right now, okay? The Crusaders band.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Boom. You guys should have it now. And it has both. So in ours, it's just slide. So I do the Crusade and I go right into it. It's all in there. Make it very simple. Okay, but again, use whatever your MD tells you to do. But it doesn't matter what this is. The key is to get the information. The real key, you guys want to keep it very simple. Like say that you don't have an FLS in hand. It's called DIMER. Debt, income, mortgage, education, retirement. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If I need to know what your debt is, I need to know what your income is. I need to know if you have a mortgage, I need to know if you have an emergency fund, I need to know what you have for retirement. DIMER. At the end of the day, that's the easiest FLS. I do FLS all the time over the phone, or if I'm in front of somebody at a barbecue, real quick, DIMER. I don't have this with me, this DIMER. Debt, income, mortgage, education, retirement. Debt, income, mortgage, education, retirement. That's the easiest way to duplicate a FLS. Cool. All right. And then the client intake form. So this is the information that we get. So after we do the Papelito or we do FLS, whatever you guys want to use, the client gathers, you got to gather their information. So you transition from the FLS intake form to gather personal information that you're going to need to submit an application. The intake form as well allows us to start multiple policies for the client. So if it's one policy I'm writing, I don't necessarily need to do an intake form. I can just literally do it right with the client as get it signed and done. But if I'm doing multiple policies, it gets kind of redundant. So then therefore I just get all the information up front. So I'm not asking the client 15 times about their date of birth or what's your social security again? What's your social security again? You know, this allows us to be able to submit multiple policies. And you should always be submitting multiple policies anyways. It shouldn't be just like a one-time policy. Field trainers, just saying. So either we are almost done. Okay, so this is how you get the client intake form. So you do the FLS. Okay, this was one that that was what's this? This is Fortalez's client intake form. So I believe Kevin Rodriguez updated it. So good job, Kevin, making it more simplistic.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay. When you guys make it fillable, it'll be a whole different world. Just saying.
You heard that, Kevin?
All right, cool. So here, this is how you transition. So you do the what? The FLS?
That's doable. We can do that.
There we go. So yeah, whoever wants to take the reins on that, please. I love it. So here is you transition. So you get the FLS, whatever one, A or B, and then you say, this is how you transition to the client intake form. Say, okay, Belinda, we're almost done. So do you mind if I gather some personal information before we end?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Belinda, do you have your driver's license on hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then you start take the driver's license, start filling out the information for it. Yeah, that's how you get the information. You guys sometimes make it too awkward. It's not awkward. It's simple questions. Hey, Champagne, we're almost done. Do you mind if I gather some personal information before we end?
Not at all.
You're going to say yes. Okay, yeah, no worries. Well, Champagne, do you have your driver's license on hand?
I do.
Okay. Can I see it by any chance?
Of course.
And by the way, men, that's the easiest way to get women's height and weight, so it doesn't become awkward in your room. You gotta better understand what I just said. You want to lose a cell? You want to lose a cell? Ask a woman their height and weight.
I'm not tripping.
I'm so dead serious. Like, that's a fact. Like, you want to lose a cell? Go ahead. Try it that way. So ask for a driver's license. So you don't have to ask directly what it is. Try to stay away from that as much as possible.
And hold your expression if you.
Well, Curtis.
Yeah. Did someone say something?
Yeah, Curtis, I was going to ask, when you can see that the driver's license is clearly not what they currently weigh, you need to ask, don't you? Because medical records may show otherwise, right?
Yeah. Like I say, I try to stay away from it as much as possible. So the question might be, hey, is there anything that's not current on this driver's license? I just want to make sure we submit the current updated information.
Okay.
No, I take a scale and I bring the scale in and have them stand on the scale.
Would you have them pee in a cup too and a mouth swab as well? Like what you got them doing? All right.
Curtis.
What's up?
This is for in person. How does this work if you're like on a Zoom?
Same thing. Same as that thing.
How do you just ask? How do you ask for a driver's license?
Zoom, guys, I'm in your living room. I'm in your office. I'm in it's the same exact thing. So I'm gonna ask the same exact question. I have the FLS printed out, or I have it, or I'll screen share.
Okay.
Screen share. I'll do it on my computer and just fill it in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. So you can just tell them what you're doing. Hey, I have this intake form right here. You mind if I ask a couple of personal information before we end here today? I just need your driver's license. You have a copy of your driver's license. So if they don't have like their driver's license where they can they're not going to show it, and if it's over Zoom, I kind of hear what you're saying now. Over Zoom, then of course you're going to say something like, okay, I just need a little bit of some of your information. And sometimes what I do is just send them the intake form. They do it. If I feel it's an awkward situation.
And also, Curtis, sometimes if you see that the person is visual, I mean, like if they tell you, yeah, I'm 5'3", 420 pounds, don't even finish the doggone application. Get in touch with underwriting first so that you can determine whether or not they're even insurable, because sometimes they're not.
Yeah, so that's you as a field trainer understanding who you're submitting to and all that. So just get their information, and then when you go and do your homework as a trainer, you can find out if they're going to fit into one of those field underwriting guides. Okay. So cool. So that's what intake form for you. So you only get that when you know you're about to what? You see there's steps to this, right? I present. I get an FLS. I get an intake form. Cool. And then lastly, it's kind of not lastly, second to last, is objections. Okay. Is objections. So you got to understand why people buy and they don't buy. If you don't understand why people buy or don't buy, you will never be able to exponentially win. That's like being a basketball player and you never understand why you miss shots. So you just keep shooting, but you keep missing. You're like, why am I missing shots? If you don't know why you don't missing shots, you can never fix it. Same thing in this game. So client buys or does not buy based on these four components. They always come down to these four. Always. First one's going to be price. So say you come back with a proposal. All right. Next is going to be company. Next is going to be coverage. And then last is going to be you. So say I sit down with them, I give them a proposal, and I say, hey, Belinda, we were able to put together something. You said $100 commitment. We're able to put you a policy with AIG for $100 a month. It's a term. Your coverage is over $500,000. We're very excited about it for you. Based on the information you gave us, is one of your best options. You come back and you say, you know what? I think I just want to think about it. I don't know about it right now. Okay. I'm going to say, well, usually there's 4 reasons why someone doesn't usually move forward with the proposal that we usually put forward. The first reason usually is because of price. Now, Belinda, you gave me a commitment of $100, and when we were able to do your FLS, your financial life strategy, you had a discretionary of over $1,000. So it can't be the price, because we're way under your commitment and you have a lot of discretionary income left over. It cannot be the company, because this is a Fortune 100 company and has billions of dollars in their assets. So it's a great company. So it can't be that. Your coverage when you did your FLS only said you needed 400,000. We gave you an extra 100,000. So we're at $500,000. So it can't be the coverage. It has to be me then, huh? All right, so that's how you do it. It must be me. So what can I do to be better for my next clients? Because if I can make sure that we take care of their price, their company, and their coverage, I just want to make sure that it's not me that stops them from getting something that they know they need. So what did I just do? I put the pressure back on the client. It's not on me. Okay. Does this make sense? This is a major close. This is like one of the best closes I've ever seen. Okay. And this is from Tom Hawkins, by the way. So does anybody understand what we just did, or we need to kind of go over it again?
Would you mind repeating that just one time real slowly so we can write that down? Usually there are 4 reasons.
Okay. So Belinda, there's usually 4 reasons why someone usually moves forward and gets protected, or they don't. The first one is price. Well, I know price can be an issue with you because you committed to whatever, $150, and we put a policy together right here for $100. So it's actually under your commitment, and you have enough discretionary income to cover the price. So it can't be price. The next one is company. We actually got you with an A-rated carrier. This is a Fortune 100 company. This is a company that has billions of dollars on their assets, a great company. So it can't be the company. They're going to be able to service you tremendously. The next one is coverage, but I know it can't be coverage because when we did your financial life strategy, it says that you need $400,000 of coverage to make sure you're protected, to give a peace of mind for you and your family. And we got you a little bit over that. You're at $500,000. So the only thing that I can ever think about from this conversation, it must be me. It has to be me. So what can I do better to be better for my next clients? What can I do better so I can be better for my next clients? This is when a client says, oh, wait, it's not you. You're fine. You explained it well. Because I want to make sure that, again, in the future, I don't want to be the one that hinders someone I don't want to be the one that hinders someone to get something they know they need, especially when it meets the criteria for themselves, something like that, you know? I don't want to be the reason that stops you from making sure you get something you know you need. What's the part? It's called isolating the real objection. And you're reminding them of what? The value you just provided. This is why you don't upsell like that. Like you don't upsell in our deal. Only time you upsell is when you give riders. But you don't upsell in commitments. If you do that, not smart. So if I commit to $100, I'm not going to put a policy together that says $110 or $150 or anything over your commitment. I'm always going to go under your commitment. Because then it can never be a price issue. Okay. So some of you guys are like for car sales and stuff like that, where it was cool to upset. Like that's not cool here. You're setting yourself up for chargebacks. Whatever they committed to, go under it. And since company, we don't have a problem with company. I mean, God, you'll give everybody a Fortune 100 company. Coverage is very simple. Whatever FLS says, just make sure you cover it. Give them coverage that they need. Yeah, that could be in a permanent type of style coverage, term, ROP, annuity, doesn't matter. Make sure the coverage, the benefits of that coverage solidifies that client's needs. And you just explain it again. Can't be the coverage because, well, this annuity that we put together actually is going to give you lifetime income. That's way better than what you're getting in your 401k that's supposed to be depleted in the next 10 years. So it can't be that coverage. It has to be me. So you guys get it? It allows you to repeat the value you provide and then isolate the real objection, which is probably is you. That's what we're here to fix, right? And it's for everybody. And then the most clients can say, oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not you. You know what? You're right. Thank you for repeating it and having this conversation. Because you explained very well. You did what you needed to do. I just was a little hesitant because of, honestly, I was hesitant because of the price. This is when you start getting that real, this is when you start getting it. It just pulls it out of them. You say, I was just really just concerned about the price. The price was what was really my issue. Oh, really? Well, you committed to 100. You know, we can drop half of that down. We can drop it to, $85. We can drop it to $50 if that's more concerning. I just want to make sure you're covered. I want to make sure you're taken care of. Oh yeah, actually will make me feel a lot better. Okay, cool. We'll do it right now. Switch paperwork. Done. Get it? So it makes them say what the real problem is. Then you redraft it. Any questions on this? Belinda, since you asked the question, do this.
Okay, so usually there are 4 reasons why someone doesn't move forward. Number 1 being the price. Now, you mentioned that your budget was about $100, and I was able to find you something for less than that. The second thing is the company. Now, I know it's not the company because this is an A-rated carrier who's been around over 100 years. The third thing is the coverage. Now, you mentioned, or based on your insurance needs, you needed $400,000. I was able to quote you $500,000 for less than the price that you, your budget. And then the fourth thing would be me. And so I'd like to just ask you what I hope it's not me, but I'd like to ask you what maybe I could do to be better for my next client.
That's good. The key is change your tone. So
okay.
When you ask the first 3, price, company, coverage, and you get the value, the whole tone needs to change to being sincere and genuine. Now it's more like it has to be me. I hate to say this, but it has to be me. So what can I do? What can I do to be better? Can you tell me what I can do to be better? I really want to be better for my next client because I want to make sure that I'm not the one that stops them from getting something they didn't know they need. You did really good, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh man, we're about to create some monsters out here with this stuff. Guys, you understand this is a very powerful close. It's a powerful close because this is what I would say to you, Belinda. I'm saying, no. It's not you, Belinda. You did everything. Like you explained it correctly. And what I'm gonna start doing is selling you. Okay, I'm like, no, you explained it correctly. You did your due diligence. You did all you needed to do. Honestly, I just heard some bad things about AIG. That was it, and it kind of made me a little bit hesitant. So what would you say?
I would say, no worries. We actually work with multiple carriers. If you're not comfortable, having a policy through AIG, I can take a look at one of the other companies I work with.
Boom. And then you solidify with a question. You just say, if I was able to find you a company that solved that concern, would be the reason why you wouldn't move forward. See, I'm trying to help you guys build the objections now. So if they say it's coverage, honestly, to be really honest, that's a lot of insurance on me. I would like it to be a little bit less. Sometimes the spouse says, oh, that's too much insurance on me. So I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it being less. Oh, if I can just lower the insurance, would it be the reason why you wouldn't move forward? Oh, no, right. Good. You can do that right now. It's simple. And by the way, your price would decrease. No worries. Boom. Is this making sense, guys? How you isolate an objection, but then you solidify it back with a question to solve the issue? All right. I think it does. This is something that you consistently keep role playing with, and you keep getting better. And this is how you make. Let's do the same math we did last time. Let's take a trainer that asks the question 10 times versus someone that doesn't ask this question every time you get a no. Someone that says this after they get a no, you're a 50% more increase versus the person that gets a no and said, no, I'm like, I'm not ready to move forward. And you stop. Oh, I just want to think about it. And you stop. Oh, we'll get back to you in the future. But you don't ask this question. It's exponentially different. Exponentially different. Because this person that's not scared to ask this question, doesn't have the ego to say, I don't want to say it's me because it can't be me. I'm the expert. Not a good idea. All right. It's okay to use yourself and say, oh, I'm good. Like, it must be me. I might be the issue. And you're like, no, it's not you. Okay, no worries. This person that asks this question and duplicates this question, your 10 no's will automatically 50% of them will start becoming yeses. Just because you got to the real issue. Cool. Good job, Belinda. The last page. And some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, he's still talking? Like, how can he talk this long about this stuff? This is field training. We've been talking since 1 o'clock. Oh my gosh, we were at BOM this morning. And then, then we had ABCs and, oh man, this stuff is just forever. Like, gotta love this game. Gotta love this stuff. We're just getting started, baby. We're just getting started. We're doing like 5 classes a day. You know that? We got like 5 more hours. You didn't know? Oh, we didn't tell you? I'm just kidding. This is your last page. Okay, for my little small bladder crew that's been holding their pee for 2 hours. Like, please stop. Please stop. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. All right, here you go. So objections. Field trainers must always ask for the sale. Ask for the sale. Well, what's the worst thing that's happened? Say, no, I'm not. It's not a good time for me. Cool. No worries. You gotta attempt. They always get 3 to 5 referrals. They always get 3 to 5 referrals. That's like a no matter what. So watch PHP education on how to get referrals. Okay, Gaitan does a video on that. But easier ways to do it as well is the emergency contact list and the beneficiaries. Okay. That's how you get referrals. That's how you get people promoted, by the way, too. I don't know if you just heard what I just said. This is how you get people promoted. It's the same language. That's why I used to tell people all the time, recruiting and selling policies is the same thing. It's the same exact thing to me. So how do I get people promoted through emergency contact list? Hey, Champagne, I know you're running for promotion. It makes sense to move up in the company, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you this. Who would you add on your emergency contact list? Like, who would be on your emergency contact list?
My parents and my husband.
Anybody else?
My
Something
brother.
ever happened. I'm talking about disastrous stuff. I'm talking like something really bad happened. Who would be on your list?
My siblings.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
2.
2? Okay, cool. So, anybody else? Say if they weren't around, anybody else you would add?
Yeah, maybe a couple of my military friends from the past.
All right, cool. And are these people that you trust them, right? Right?
Oh yeah.
So like you stuck at 2 a.m. in the morning, like stuck, like you literally, you stranded, you need some help. These are people you would call?
Yep.
So they'll do anything for you?
Yep.
Okay, cool. What did I just learn? These people obviously would do anything for her. Who do you think we're about to call? He just gave me a list of 7 people. And I'm just trying to get you to first base. You guys make this too hard. Like beneficiaries too. Hey, say we're about to put together a policy, okay? Say you just got an inheritance check. Say you got a trust fund. Say you got hit, by a Coca-Cola, say a Coca-Cola truck or a Walmart truck, okay? And say like literally, like you cannot go to work or anything like that. Pretty much what's going to happen is your family is probably going to try to sue them and yourself for a couple $1 million, huh? Like if Walmart hits you with a truck right now, okay, and literally, I'm talking about you lose a leg, you lose a limb, or anything like that, you're probably going to sue Walmart for a couple $1 million, wouldn't you? I would assume, yeah, right? Probably, yes. So cool. So my point is this: let's say something happens to you, who would you want that money to be passed on to? Who would be on your beneficiaries list? You have $1 million, you're a millionaire now. And something ever happens to you, say something happens to you, who in your mind would you want that account to be passed on to? So now you make a list of beneficiaries. Yeah, exactly. The Budweiser story. That's how you write $1 million, what's called $1 million policy. Melina, you want to explain the Budweiser story before we? That's how you write $1 million policy every time you sit down with a client.
Real quick, Coach. So you would say, what if you were hit by a Budweiser? The Budweiser truck. They're like worth millions and millions of dollars. If you were hit by that truck, how much would you sue them for? Because you can't work anymore. If you die because of that, how much would you sue them for? And then they would say, well, a few $1 million. And then you would say something like, okay, well, how much are you worth? If I can get you into a policy for $1 million for pennies on that, would you take advantage of that? So you can pass on that legacy to your family. And then you just put it into perspective, into value of how much is your life worth, and it's longer than that, but I don't want to take up too much time, but it's basically that.
Yeah, it's very simple conversation. You say if you got hit by a Budweiser truck, you said it right. Your family, if you passed away, your family would sue Budweiser for a couple $1 million, wouldn't they? So your family and everyone around you would probably think your life is worth over $1 million. So you must have. So what are you doing right now to make sure that you're protected for $1 million if something ever happens to you? Then that's how you write $1 million term, or ART, whatever it may be. Okay. So a lot of you got clients don't have $1 million because you don't give that same example. So so the key is no one should have less than $1 million of coverage over them. That's the point. ART or term. So it's not a cost issue. They should always have a minimum of $1 million, because if a Budweiser or anybody else hits you, your family would have sued them for that amount of money. So why are you walking around with no coverage right now at that type of value if you know your family would sue them for that value if anything happened to you like that? You show them ART or term. So good. Thanks, Melina. So that's how you share their story to write a term at $1 million and so forth. Okay. So number 3 is the invite to the BOM. What makes us different than our competitors is we want you to understand how our firm works and the benefits. That's what makes us different. So anytime you do a field training, you always invite them back to a BOM. You always invite them back to a live webinar. What makes us so different, Cody, than our competitors is we want you to understand how our firm works and our benefits here. So I would love to invite you to one of our live webinars so you have a better understanding of that. What's better for you, Wednesday or Saturday?
Saturday works best for me.
Okay, perfect. It's at 10 a.m. I'll send you the link. We really appreciate you giving a client and you and being open to understanding again how our firm is changing our country right now. That's it. So cool. So guys, that is field training. That is class 4. All right, that's class 4. Now, again, some of you we might not see next week if you don't have over 80 points. Okay, so make sure you get your points in, you know, your homework and all that. I might get some extra credit. I'll post in the Crusaders band so you can get into that class. Next week's classes. Like we go over like all this stuff, illustrations and like good stuff. You know, like what's a business owner exit strategy? How do you leverage that? How do you become your own bank? How do you do it if you're in this business right now? How you leverage that? And so we'll go over that next week. So make sure you have your 80 points so you can get into the class and you can position yourself for becoming a CFT. And we actually explain how to become a CFT. If you didn't, then you have to wait till July 11 to get through each class. Okay. So that you can graduate. You can graduate. All right, and to do it the proper way. So with that, does anybody have any last questions before we end you guys today?
So in order to get into the next class, you have to have 80 points, correct?
Facts.
That would be with this week's homework.
Yeah, as long as you have 80 points going into the next class, you can get into class.
Okay, thanks.
You're very, very welcome. To graduate, though, you guys look. I mean, it's in the. I told you guys to click that link. It tells you the point system. It tells you everything. To graduate, you gotta look at the requirements to graduate. Okay, and one of you guys will be a valedictorian, which is the MVP. Which means over this 5 weeks, you killed everybody on this call. All right, based on your homework, based on the extra credit, based on your attendance, participation, all that. Okay.
Yo, Coach, can I ask you a question real quick in regards to upselling? Because you know when you get a commitment, let's say someone's kind of wealthy, doing good for themselves. Let's say that they give you a commitment, and you're looking at a discretionary income, and let's say they have $1,000 for the sake of this question. Is it fair to do they say I commit to 250, right? But is it fair to do it? Because I want people to also upsell if it's possible and if they can afford it, but to give them 3 options, a lower option, their commitment being 250, and then like more coverage for above the 250 commitment that you got, if they're able to afford it. Is that okay to do if they can afford it? And as a C option, double the coverage, more value, more living benefits, things like that. What would you recommend?
What type of policy you put them in though? What is this? Is this term? Is it term or IUL?
I'm thinking IUL because of the benefits, if it's affordable.
Yeah. IUL is a 3 to 6 month rule. So if you don't have 3 to 6 months of the commitment I'm giving you in a liquid savings account, I for sure don't write that policy. That's a 100% chargeback coming your way. So simple example. So if I have $50 that I commit to, say, hey, Joe, I commit to $50. Okay, cool. So you have 5 times 3 would be what? 150. Okay, cool. So if you have $150 in your savings account right now, right? A liquid asset account.
Right.
No, I only have 100. Okay, doesn't make sense. We're not writing that policy.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it has a lot to do with the discretionary income, but it has a lot to do with their comfort. So yes, you can show them, this is what you can say. This is when your income increases or you feel your comfort level increases. If they committed 250 and say they have, $5,000 in their savings account, whatever it is, and you say, look, if you put 500 in it, this is what it could look like for you. But that's the next class, by the way. So if I'm doing IUL and they commit to 250, I'm guide level premium that 250.
Okay.
Why? Because if something ever happens in an emergency, they paid the target premium in 4 months or 6 months. No chargeback for me.
Right.
And then they overfunded and max fund their policy out. And they have access to go more too.
Okay. So we can always do a secondary policy. Gotcha.
Most people are not max funding their policies. So they're not even using their IUL for the purpose of the IUL. That's like having a Ferrari, you put an 89 in your tank. But you want it to drive fast. If it's still going to drive fast, but you're like killing your car. And you know who loves when agents do that? Prime America can't wait for y'all to to sell an IUL and they underfund it. Oh my gosh, they are so fired up when they see that. They love that you tell them to pay target premium. That's the next class. They love it. They say, thank you for making our job easier. And that's why a lot of agents that sell IULs, they don't keep their clients long-term. It's because you don't sell it the right way. You're not leveraging it for the reason it needs to be leveraged, which is if you read these books like Laser or the Laser Test or Infinite Banking or anything, but you have to max fund those policies or go to a ROP term. Just use term until you can max fund a policy. Okay, so we'll talk about that next week for sure. And a good question.
Next question.
That's next week too. Variable for increasing. Yeah. Weapons of choice, all that. Today was just supposed to be simple. Guys, I just want to talk about the 3 sets of eyes, field training, how to use the Crusade, how to get an FLS, the question get an FLS, the question get a intake form, if you sell something right now, you sit down with a client, you offer them something, they say, I just want to think about it. Well, let me tell you there's only 4 reasons why people don't move forward. How do you handle that? You can handle that objection and understand your key, which is always getting referrals, always asking for the sale, and always inviting back to what? A live webinar BOM. There should be a lot more guests on BOMs if you do it the right way, field training. Because clients are always the best recruits. Don't ever forget that. Clients will always be your best recruits because they believe in their product. So when you field train, you always invite back. All right, guys. Any last questions? I want to make sure some of you guys look like you guys got hit by a bus.
Any extra credit?
Am I what?
You said you're gonna mention extra credit. Did you mention it already?
I did not mention extra credit. Okay, I did not mention extra credit. I'm gonna post extra credit though. I'm thinking about it still. I'm gonna post it in the Crusaders band. So pay attention to that. She said, I just want to get my extra credit numbers up, huh? All right, cool. So guys, you guys have a blessed one. Hopefully it made sense for you. In regards to field training, don't complicate it. Keep it simple. The best thing I could tell you is keep it simple. Simple questions with confidence is going to